Hi all, welcome back. Red Storm, Dark Blue Defection. Scenario 2, good old Uncle Sam. This is part 11. Just the end of the night here, but I do have maybe half an hour or so, maybe a little longer, so I wanted to try and do a little bit, because quite a few things coming up now. I think I'm maybe getting a wee bit lazy and missing a few things. Few things to talk about. Some comments John's made about part 9. Of course, this is part 11, and I've not quite uploaded part 10 yet, so I'm kind of like behind here, and so I don't like it when it's like that. But it means that I'm actually producing more videos, and which is a good thing in a way, isn't it? Okay, right. Let's try and get through this quick as I can. Okay, I won't talk about that just now. Yeah, well, there's one. I've said quite a few times now that going to low altitude behind the front is going to cause us AAA SAM. Can I find that? It's probably around about here. There it is. Automatic small arms AAA at deck. Deck level, not low. You're fine at low level. So I made a complete hash of moving a couple of flights and thinking there was a problem with them being at low. I think I ended up with poor modifiers in that first attack we made with the F-15s, because I decided I needed to stay at medium altitude, which wasn't the case. I could have dropped to low. Low's fine, it's deck level. So okay. Another comment that I've just made here, I've got a wee note here. The radar shutdown marker that we've got, well, it's shut down again, isn't it? I was saying that I don't see why I understand the point for that, but it's quite clear that the point of that is that while it's shut down, it can't switch back on, Grant. So as long as this marker's here, this is shut down. So, you know, if this is just showing off, then it would switch back on. And actually, John's commented on that part as well. But anyway, the reason there's a necessary need for that radar shutdown marker. Okay, right. Okay, so I'm moving on to some comments about part 10 here. Okay, well, yeah. Hang on. Let's just look at John's comment from part 9 first. I've got 3 things I've taken note of about my part 10 that I've seen. Of course, John's not seen part 10, or anybody's not seen part 10 yet. Okay, so his first comment is about, you know, what do I do with the SAMs when when we had the shutdown, it does indeed, if the SAM warn marker's still there, it goes to off, and so does the SAM go to off. He says, yeah, correct on all accounts. SAM warn and SAM unit flipped to the offside, and acquisition marker removed from Saint flight, which was up there. So that was right. It talks about the bomb run. I think I'm talking about the bomb run here. This is at 16-minute mark. Yeah, well, nothing explicitly says that the bomb run is completed after the attack. It is implied. So you would need to establish a new IP 3 hexes from the target. Yeah, that's when I was saying, at first I was trying to create this situation where I could maybe attack it that turn and then start an attack the next turn, but then I realised that it had to be 3 hexes away for the IP to start. So he's kind of confirmed that that is the case. It goes into another bit more detail, but I won't. Just want to get through this quickly. Talking about having, if you had ELGMs and bombs, but he finishes that with, yeah, you just can only do 1 attack per turn, because I think that was kind of what I was mentioning as well. Right, move on. Right, I'll come back to that one, because that's the one that I didn't realise myself. That's the one that I've took note of. Yeah, no, I didn't notice it. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised you were all prepared for me to miss one of the not applicable to infrared SAM ones, John, after the previous comment. But okay. Okay, yeah, he's talking about how the damage is dealt out to like if you've got slight, heavy, or destroyed. He's reckoning that slight is SAM suppressed, heavy is SAM damaged, destroyed is SAM destroyed, and obviously the slight part is not applicable to. It's a no effect for against an infrared SAM, and it says it there, doesn't it? Goes into a wee bit of description about that. I'll leave that for you to read. When a bot SAM gets the radar shutdown marker removed, it automatically switches the radar back on. So there you go. So that was a question I was asking. When that shutdown marker came off the first time, this would have switched back on automatically. So we've managed to get it shut down again. How did we... Yeah, because we launched a Shrike at that, didn't we? Although we do have it located now. Okay. Yeah, but we can't attack it with Shrikes. Well, I think we were going to go in with the EOGM, weren't we? I think that was the plan. And then the last comment there, remove the SAM launch marker. As mentioned, part of the function of SAM launch markers is to say this SAM fired this turn. By removing it, you allow the SAM to fire again next turn. Yeah, it's when I'd left the SAM launch marker here, and then they just come off at the end of the turn. It's just an admin marker that you take off. It won't affect this one. Well, turns out it's not going to affect this one as well, because I'm going to have to change this again. And that's where I left out his comment at the 24-minute mark. He says, you miss a couple of things here. First, to check to see if the SAM will actually fire at long range. And yes, I've completely forgot about that. And I don't know, did I... Have I done that already? I just gave up on the long range checks, haven't I? I'm not sure if I've missed this more than once. But when a SAM is at long range, and that means for the SA, well, it's SA13 he's talking about here, that means when it's at only a range of 2, I think the very first time I done it, I rolled, and remember it's an odd or even roll to decide if the SAM is going to attack or not. So I forgot that roll on this fight here, and I might have even forgot it. I'm just wondering about when this... Did this... I can't even remember. Did this actually fire, the SA11? No, it's not actually fired, has it? Don't think so. But remember, we were doing the long range check for that when we got to range 10, and then I'd done it more than once, and John had kind of suggested that if it was him and the way he plays it, he would only do it once per turn, do the check at long range, because it felt like it was a bit fairer on the SAMs. So I forgot that, but more importantly, he said second, the -1 partial acquisition or infrared SAM attack. So assuming the check to fire at long range is yes, fire, we'll not bother with that roll. We'll say it was yes, fire, okay? He said the real DRM is a -3 and thus a miss. Now, I'll show you here where I've blundered then. So, yeah, and first of all, and I had this all on board when I first started doing things, and that's why I feel like I've just got a bit lazy or a bit lax. I've just kind of lapsed a bit, and roll 1d10 before long range SAM attack. Odd, they'll attack, even they'll not attack. So I didn't do that check, and that's the first point John was picking up. Just kind of forgot all about it. And then the more important one was that, okay, we didn't do that check, but we just assumed they were going to attack. So we were going to roll on this. And I've changed this twice now. Well, no, not this one, I've not. We didn't have an altitude modifier. Oh, sorry. That's to do with the actual SAM. They're the two that we don't check that are on the little cards, right? We were at low altitude, so we had a -1. this one at the bottom, infrared SAM attack from forward hemisphere, -1. So that's -2. That's all I gave it. This one here, partial acquisition or infrared SAM attack. It should have been another -1. So in actual fact, this should have been a -3 on that very first roll. And if you recall, I rolled a 14 and only counted a -2, which would have took me to 12. And I was like, that's just a hit and no more. So that resulted in the possible hit. Okay, which I gave myself and then forgot about that modifier leading into the attack or bomb attack or missile attack on the actual SAM, and then I had to redo that. However, this would never have been a possible hit. It would have been a miss because that modifier took the die roll from 14 with a -3 modifier down to 11. So it would have been a miss. So all that going back over this and changing this to a suppression result, I'm going to take all this off. This is going to have had a heavy damage marker on it. Not a destroying marker. Where is it? Heavy. As we first put on it, that's what we first had went for. And then noted we'd made a mistake, and then John's just picked up that I've made another mistake yet again. So I think this is right now. With that one, hopefully. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, because we didn't have the possible hit modifier, so we would have got the 3 instead of the 2. I'm just remembering it, and the 3 resulted in a heavy hit, whereas the 2 was only giving me the suppression. So it should have been the 3, should have been the heavy hit. So that's good. That's a plus for us. Okay, so yeah, I've took a note of that there. So I've got that. So I've got 2 other things here. Getting lazy, I said, I don't even consider other detection methods. However, all flights are detected, so I get lucky. Yeah, it's when I was just in the detection phase and I only done the normal detection. I didn't even consider the radar detection. And remember, we had pull-off flight was an active flight and could have carried out a radar detection. However, you might, if you've watched it, you might have thought, well, you didn't do it because all the flights were detected, but it's not something I considered. So fortunately, I was lucky that all other flights on the map were actually detected. So, but I just, again, felt like trying to rush, maybe getting a bit lax, like I say, a bit lazy. Okay, and the last one was, again, yeah, I'm going to have to watch this because Vegas flight, after getting out of that situation, he made a turn here. He went right through this airfield hex at medium altitude. And remember, we have to take an AAA check on that unless we're at deck altitude. So I'm not going to go back and mess about with that, because I would have had to drop to deck or turn about a different way. So I'm going to just take a chance here and hope that I'm going to do the check. Wait till I find the table that we're looking for. Right, so here's the AAA table. I'm just going to take a chance and hope that we get through this dice roll. So it would have been small arms. It's light fire. And we were at medium altitude. So it's an 18. And there's no modifiers, is there? Okay, so yeah, so it's just a straightforward case of rolling, and as long as we get less than an 18, all is good. Well, hang on, bombing mods and inherent zone, all the small arms. No, there's nothing there. So 18. Yeah, let's see. I've rolled 17. A 9 and an 8, and I thought at first, I was like, my counting wasn't working right there. 17, wow, well, that was lucky. Or we would have had to then go further there and see what happened. Okay,
But I'll need to watch them. It's because they don't look like they should be damaging you, because they're NATO sort of airfields. But okay. So okay, that's all my comments and fixes, I think. So thanks again for your comments, John. I'm sure there's going to be more to come. I feel like there was more on my mind, but maybe not. I see a dash marker here, but no, hold on. Yeah, no, that's right, because we've not. Oh, we got. Yeah, this was really lucky. Not only getting the initiative, but getting 3 as an initiative chit draw. That was really, really lucky, wasn't it? Afterwards, just watching back that, I thought, wow, that was like perfect. And I think this all went well. I was just watching back at that part just now. I've not completely watched part 10. You know what I was wondering about was, see when it says, and I'll just ask this, because if I do that, John's very good at putting timestamps down, and he might just say, yeah, that's right, or no, that's not right. What I was thinking, and I don't know if I've done it here with this move, because remember, it was a kind of tight manoeuvre to like get around and get facing towards the pull-off flight to get that +2 modifier. And I'm still not awful sure that it was done right. I still think I could maybe have done it in a way. Well, I'll tell you what is I'm wondering. When you move into a hex and you do a free turn, I think that's maybe how I've done this. I moved in, done a free turn, and then I spent a movement point to do an actual turn in the hex. But with that free turn and the turn that you do, does that have to... I mean, it does say your day max turn in altitude band. What I'm saying is, if I move into the hex and do a free... Let's say I'm able to do a free 60-degree turn, right? Let's just say I'm at speed 4. Right, hang on. Let's just look at the chart first. Right, so I'm at speed 4. And let's just say I move into a hex and I do a free day 60-degree turn. Okay, now my maximum turn in the altitude band is 120. So I do a free 60-degree turn after making the move into the hex. Then I decide to do a turn, spend a movement point to do a turn. Can I turn full 120 degrees after making that turn? Or does this take into account that I've already turned 60 degrees already in the hex? And can I only now turn another 60 to make up to that 120? That's my question. I think I've got that across okay. I think you should understand what I'm meaning. Because I'm not sure about that. Because I think I may have done a 30-degree turn into there and then done a further turn in the hex. And I'm worried that if it goes over the 120 degrees, I'm maybe not allowed to do that. So that's my slight doubt. Well, it's not just a slight doubt, also some of the way that was moving. I'd like to get out there to look at, and well, if it all goes wrong, I could come back to the dice rolls. I know I got a really good dice roll, didn't I, on the actual attack, didn't I? Did I not roll something like a 19 or something like that? So if it is a case, I'll maybe just keep the die roll and we'll say that, okay, well, we had to attack from the beam and we didn't get that +2 modifier, and come back to that. But I'll let likes of John and anybody else that wants to make any comments on how that worked and that question. I wouldn't mind answer to that. Yeah, I'm not going to say it again. I think I've explained it okay. Okay. Right. Well, can we push on? Can we do a little bit more? I've still got a little bit of time. That didn't take me as long as I thought. So we've moved all our flights. Yeah. So we don't need to draw a chart. It's just the Warsaw Pact turn and they've only got 2 flights to move. In fact, yeah, we don't even need to roll a dice. They're both diamonds. We still don't know which one of these is the actual MiG-21 fish bed, but they're both sitting there together. So flight A will try and move first. That's right, isn't it? So now let's just double. Well, it's definitely got something within 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is within 6. So is that's within 7. That's within 7. Okay, Vegas is doing a runner, but that's fine. So now we need to look at, well, maybe a dark blue defection. It's number 5 in the special scenario rules as if a detected enemy flight in the same hex or within 7 hexes, go to engagement actions on player card 5. Okay, but we're still not identified that flight route. Let's player card 5, right? The bot flight engagement actions, wasn't it? Right, let's have a look at this then. I'm assuming we would still initially have to go here. The only reason we're not going here is because we've got 2 diamonds. That's only 2 flights we've got, and these go in alphabetical order, so I know that. But I'm assuming... Yeah, I think it would work out fine. We would have to come here first, just in case there's any of these markers on it. But then, after removing markers, and although that sets the throttle on that, doesn't it? So I'm not sure. I think we would have to come here first. Although it does just instruct in the special scenario rules, it does just say if detected enemy flight in same hex or within 7 hexes, go to engagement actions. But then if it's got a BVR avoid marker on it, would it not want to come here first? I'm not sure. I mean, if it gets down to the bottom, we would then come here to combat actions, we'd come across here, and then we wouldn't need to roll a dice. I think this is when we would go to engagement actions anyway. So, not quite, I'm not 100% sure about how that works, but however, we don't have markers on the flights, so let's just get across to engagement actions. If anybody wants to maybe comment on that nonsense I've just talked about, then feel free. So here we are, engagement actions, bot flight actions. So roll 1d10 and move as follows. So there's 2 options there. Probably need to zoom out to get all that in. So I'll just show you that at that range. If we get less than or equal to a 6, we attempt BVR combat. And it says if no BVR weapons cannot get into range for BVR combat, or rules of engagement prevent BVR combat with nearest detected enemy flight, go to attempt standard area combat. And then otherwise do all this. Okay. If we roll a 7 or greater, attempt standard area. Select nearest detected human power flight. Combat or dash throttle. Well, we would need to know we would need to identify the flight then, wouldn't we? I know if we're about to attempt BVR. Right, give me a sec, let me look at that other side. It's on the other side of this blade. Yeah, so bot flight activation table. You see, activate. Bot flights use generic flight counters until activated. A generic bot flight is activated at the end of the following occur. It is visually identified. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they need to be within 4 hexes. I remember that. There's nothing in 4 hexes. Well, I never thought about that. Visually identified 10.4. If we had been within 4 hexes. 10.4. Oh, no, this is within 1 hex.
I'm talking about a visual detection here, which is different from identification. Yeah. So, in day conditions, flights are visually identified the instant any of the following conditions occur. The flight enters standard air-to-air combat. A non-disordered enemy flight is within 1 hex, has a line of sight, and is within 1 altitude band of the flight. C. An enemy AAA, SAM, or Army ground unit is within 1 hex and has line of sight to the flight. Okay, I don't think none of that's applying then. Although the one that could come into it is the flight enters standard air-to-air combat, which might happen here. But I would think we need to know what the flight is before we start manoeuvring it. Because we're looking at A flight here. Now, he's probably got Cobra and he's... Well, I've yet to decide which flight he's going to go for, because it could go for this one, could go for this one. But surely we need to find out if he's a real fighter or a dummy. So, okay, well, going back, what's the next way that you could... attempts to engage in or is successfully engaged in air-to-air combat, including BVR combat. So this would activate it as well. It receives an attempt BVR combat or attempt... there you go. It's right there, Grant. It receives an attempt BVR combat or attempt standard air-to-air combat engagement actions result. Okay, so if it gets... Sorry, I should have done a wee pause there. So if it gets this result, or if it gets this result, we're gonna check it, and then if it becomes a dummy, it'll go away. Then we'll check B flight, and obviously that'll be the flight, and we'll do it. Okay. So I think we still need to roll the 1d10 here. So a 6 or less, it's going to attempt BVR. A 7 or greater, it's going to attempt standard air-to-air. Which I think it could achieve both. Maybe. What if medium altitude and high altitude for a dash? Yeah, I think they probably could. I'm a bit concerned it doesn't sort of say here that or does it not? Maybe it does actually say. So in the nearest, move as follows. Attempt engagement. If engagement attempt not possible, move as close as possible. Right, okay. So it does tell you there. Because I mean, you know, we could be within 7 hexes, but he might not have the movement to get there. Yeah. So, although I suppose that's why it's 7 hexes, which you're normally probably going to be able to dash. Well, maybe not. Them dashing at high or 6 speed. Right, anyway, I'm going to roll to see what we're doing first, right? So, what do we get? I've got a 5, so that's BVR, right? Okay, that's probably better then. So, let's close in on this and look more into this then. Well, first of all, if no BVR weapons cannot get into range or rules of engagement prevent it, with nearest detected enemy flight, go to attempt standard air-to-air combat. Right. So, well, it does have BVR. Well, no. We need to find out if it's the bot, if it's the dummy or the actual flight. Right, so I'm actually looking at this, but this is the one that is slightly different in the DBD in it. So we need to do a check to see if it's a dummy. If bot flight activation check is real, no. Where's the bit that? Where's? Here we go. When activating bot flights, maximum of 2 dummy flights. A roll 0 to 5 is a real flight. A roll of 6 to 10 is dummy flight. Do not add negative modifiers. Right. So we're rolling. Oh, it's no 0 to 5. It's 1 to 5 is a real flight. I've rolled a 5. So there we go. So that is the real flight. So I'm pretty sure now we can take B flight away. And
We don't even need to roll on this because we've only got that. So this is Zeller. This is our MiG 2021 fish bed. There he is. So that's him. He's at medium altitude. That was a high altitude marker for the dummy. Okay, good stuff. Right. Yeah, so we don't need to roll any of that. Right, I can put that away again and we can move back to the engagement part. There's something else I remembered. I'd forgot to do again. I forgot to check for bailout. Which is kind of important because if we get a... Well, you know what? The flight was in this hex here. Sorry, I maybe should have stuck with what I'm doing. Well, we know this is the real flight. It's a MiG-21. We'll come back to that. He's going to engage and attempt BVR combat with somebody. We're not sure which one yet, if it's Cobra or it's Saint. But when Pulov he lost his last aircraft of his flight. It was in this hex here. I should have rolled for bailout. Oh, look at that. That's right, sitting there in front of me. Bailout. 1 to 4, crewmen killed in action. So I'm going to roll. And really, if we don't get a 1 to 4, it doesn't really matter. Oh, I've rolled a 5. Right, so he's not killed in action. He would be a 5 to 9 as a place a parachute mark on the hex. So he would be there. He bailed out. But you can see he is going to land on his side of the front. So yeah, there's not a problem. Right, let's get back to where we were at. But hopefully I had a wee comment about that in the header of part 10 as well. Okay, so determine the target. Select the near... Oh, hang on. Yeah. Do we have BVR weapons? I'm pretty sure that he does. Or does he? You know what? He doesn't. Right then. Yeah, it was only Pulov that's got BVR. Zeller down the bottom here. There's his loadout. He's got guns. He's only got infrared missiles, R13M, which don't give a modifier, and they're depletion number 6. So good chance I'm running out. Okay, so he's not going to do BVR because he's not got BVR weapons. Okay. Right. So back up there, it says that in the first part, doesn't it? If no BVR weapons, cannot get, go to attempt standard air-to-air combat. Right, so we're now coming down to this bit and seeing if we can do that. So determine target. Select nearest detected human player flight, ignoring human player flights stacked with bot flights. Random select ties. Okay. So we've got 2. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they are both 6 away. You would think this is probably easier for him to get to. In actual fact, well, he can go dash throttle. However, if he goes dash throttle, his dash with a clean is going to be a 6. So he can clearly go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can engage this, but I'm not so sure if he can turn. Because he'd have to spend the movement point. And what is it? At 6 speed, his turn is only 90 degrees. So he'd have to turn 90, facing that way. And that'd be 1 movement point. 2, and then 3 turn at the hex. 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, you can get adjacent. That's what you need to do, eh? You need to get adjacent, spend 1 movement point to either enter the hex or move adjacent, and then declare area combat. So you can get to both, because I think, although they're both same amount of hexes away, because he's having to turn around to get to that, if he couldn't do it, I think it kind of common sense that he would target Cobra instead. However, they're both 6 away, they can both reach them both, so it's going to be random select ties. So we'll say odd and even for Cobra. I rolled a 1, so it is Saint he's going to go for. Which might be a good thing, because do we not run out of our weapons with Cobra? Yeah, all he's got left's a gun, isn't he? Yeah, he burnt out his missiles, went away. Okay, so he's going to go after Saint. Move as follows. So combat or dash thrall. Hang on, I'll show you this. So combat or dash thrall, whichever is needed to engage. And it says move to enter enemy flight hex at same altitude if able, from rear hemisphere if possible. Attempt engagement. If engagement attempt not possible, move as close as possible to target flight. At same altitude, turning to keep it in forward arc. If engagement successful, resolve air-to-air combat. Take all possible shots using following priority. Sorry, I'm maybe not showing you that, but using following priority: infrared missile, gun, radar homing missile. Well, I mean, he's only got infrared missiles and guns. And then, if engagement unsuccessful, use remaining movement points to move straight ahead. So it does say it wants to enter the hex. Now, well, I've already pointed out that we cannot enter the hex if we're going for Saint, because of what he's got to do. He's got to turn. I think that's okay though, because right, let's get the bit that tells us about engaging in air-to-air combat. I think I'll need the rulebook open for that as well. Give me a sec. Okay, so just reading through the engagement, I think this can still happen, because I seem to recall, well, just read it, Graham. So engagement prerequisites. Attacking and defending flights must meet certain conditions before an attacking flight may make an engagement attempt. So standard air-to-air combat engagement prerequisites. A flight may not attempt to engage in standard air-to-air combat unless it has moved at least 1 hex or changed altitude in the movement phase. The engagement attempt itself costs no additional movement points, and that's why I'm aware that I can reach one of these adjacent hexes and still engage, and then we move into the hex, and that doesn't cost a movement point. The defender must be detected and not stacked with a friendly flight. That is the case. The defender must be within 1 hex of the attacker and in the same altitude band, or the band immediately below. Well, that's fine, because he's at mid-jump and he's at mid-jump, so all good there. If in different hexes, the attacker must have the defender in its forward arc. If in different hexes, the attacker must... Yeah, okay. The attacker must have an undepleted air-to-air weapon. He does. The attacker must not be disordered, aborted, have performed SAM avoidance. And then all AA or SAM attacks against the attacking flight in its current hex have been resolved. No, we're not going to have any of that, as long as he stays out of this hex and this hex, because we'll got white AAA fire there. But I think we should manage to do that, hopefully. Okay, so I think this can go. The bit that he wanted to get in the rear hemisphere, we're not going to be able to do that. It says move to enter enemy flight hex at same altitude if able. We'll be able to do it at the same altitude, but we won't be able to actually move into the hex. Well, when we engage, we move into the hex from rear hemisphere if possible. Right, that's not going to be possible. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move a couple of things here. I've just moved that yellow cube away from this because it's probably not required anymore. It's part of the flight path. It's just because that was getting a bit messy. Right, let's say I think it's got to be dash throttle. So he's got to be dash throttle. He's at medium altitude. Oh, yeah. Hang on. I was looking at him being at high altitude. I don't think he can do it then, can he? Because his first movement point is going to be to turn. He's going to be at 5 speed then. His first movement point is going to be, well, 5 to 8, it's still the same. He can do a 90-degree turn. So 30, 16, 30, 16, 90, he'd be looking along the spine that way. And then he'd move on to the spine, free turn into that hex. That's 2 movement points. 3, free turn. 4, 5, free turn. He can't make it. Can't make it. Yeah, I was looking at him having 6. So well, it can do BVR combat anyway. So we were rolling a dice to see which flight he was going to go for. So because I mean, like I say, the AI here is reasonably, you know, it's not too complicated. It's sort of left a bit simpler there. I mean, it says select nearest detected human player flight. Ignoring human player flights stacked with bot flights. Random select ties. So I've done that, and these are both the same distance away. However, this one he can reach for air-to-air combat, and this one he cannot. So does that not kind of tell me that I should be doing that one? It doesn't really say that in the rules, but you've got to kind of think that now, I feel like part of me wants to follow the rules. And the rules do say that move to enter enemy flight, attempt engagement. If engagement not impossible, move as close as possible to the target flight. So it's kind of saying that if you can't reach it, you have to move as close as possible to it. So going by the rules, I should just move as close as possible to this, but you can see part of me feels like, well, we can make an attack on Cobra, so shouldn't we do that? However, here's another thought. Well, there's pluses and minuses all around, I suppose. Cobra does not have any missiles, does he? He's only got a gun. So there's a plus to him attacking him, I would think. But this flight still has some missiles and wants to shoot this SA-11. So what do we do there? You know what, Grant? There's a thought. Because I don't have much time. Why not just leave it there and ask that question? What should I do? What should I do here? Because they're both 6 hexes away. And that's all it's sort of asking. It's select nearest detected human player flight, random select ties. So we rolled a random to select between ties, and we got this result. However, we cannot engage it in air-to-air combat this turn, but we could engage this in air-to-air combat this turn. So what should I do? And like I've just said to you, and initially I was going to change it. I was thinking, well, let's just go for Cobra flight then, because we can actually reach that. But maybe this is more important to him, because this is the last hope we've got is shooting down this SA-11. I mean, whether these guys know all that or not, admittedly, that's something else that could come into it. I don't know. But I think, going by the rules, I should be just moving close to this. But going by my thinking, part of me thinks I should maybe be going and having a go at Cobra. Okay. Yeah, well, why not? I'm gonna cut that as a part and just leave it. Because I very much doubt I'm going to get a shot tomorrow, although I will get a shot on Wednesday, but hopefully I can review this part back. I've almost looked through part 10 anyway, so I'll be able to get that uploaded maybe even tonight, just before bed, if not tomorrow sometime. And this is only 46 minutes now we're at, so I'll leave that question with you, probably for John, who's been making the majority of comments. What should I do there, John? What's the right thing to do? Or is it something I've got to decide for myself, or what do you think? Right, okay, I'll leave that in your capable hands. And yeah, I don't think I'll get a shot tomorrow night because I'm finished later from work, but I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, so I might get a shot then, but hopefully we'll have the answers back and be able to finish off what this does. So I think I know where I'm at. Do I need to mark anything? Not really. No, I'll remember where I'm at, I think. I can always look back in the video to check. Okay, I'll be back in a couple of days' time, and hopefully we'll know what the right thing to do is here. Okay, cheers.